Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be finishing off the basic operations for fractions by going over multiplication as well as division. So I think we should start with multiplication just because it follows the order correctly. So here we have multiplication of fractions. So lucky for us, multiplication of fractions is actually the easiest operation in my opinion. All we have to do is multiply the numerator and multiply the denominator. So let me give you an example. If I have here n over m multiplied by x over y, and these are just in place of any number that you can think of, positive or negative. All I have to do is multiply the numerators, which gives me n times x, and the small dot is the same as writing an x, meaning multiplication, over m times y, m times y. And this will be our final answer, unless we have to simplify it. So let's use some real numbers. If we have 1 over 2 times 1 over 3, what's our first step? Multiplying the numerators, so 1 times 1, that leaves me with 1. Then I multiply the denominators, 2 times 3, that leaves me with 6. Alright. Simple enough. Let's try some more. Does it matter if it's the same denominator? No, it does not. As long as we have a numerator and a denominator, we're able to multiply this way. What if we had 2 times 3 over 4? Since 2 is equivalent to 2 over 1, we can simply write it as 2 over 1 times 3 over 4, and that leaves us with 6 over 4. 2 times 3, which gives us 6, 1 times 4, which gives us 4. Now, can I simplify this? Yes, I can, because both numbers are pairs. So I'm left with 3 over 2. And 3 over 2, if I were to simplify it to a decimal, I'd get 1.5. Alright, how about we do a couple more examples just to solidify things, then we can move on to division. Because as I stated before, multiplication is the easiest one. So what if we had 5 over 2 times 12 over 11? I multiply the top, 5 times 12, which, if I'm not mistaken, gives us 60, over 2 times 11, which is 22. Here, since both numbers are pairs, I'll divide both of them by 2. So 60 divided by 2, and 22 divided by 2. Everything I do to the numerator, I have to do to the denominator. So here, 60 divided by 2, that gives me 30, and 22 divided by 2, that gives me 11. Now, since 11, there's no divisible, 11 is not a divisor of 30, and there aren't any common divisors, I'm just going to leave it as that. That's the most simplified form. Okay, what if we got into division now? So the beautiful thing about division is that there's only 2 steps. So here I have my n over m divided by my x over y. What I have to do is we have to write step 1, flip second fraction. So here, this is the second fraction. So here I have my first fraction, I have my second fraction. All I have to do is flip this one like this, and the result will be n over m, and then the other fraction will be y over x. Now, what will be the operation between them? It'll be multiplication. And just like we reviewed before, multiplication is the easiest one because it's a very simple process. All we have to do is we have to multiply the numerators and we have to multiply the denominators. So for the answer for here, just for the equation, it would be n times y, dot representing the multiplication, and then we'd have m times x. Simple enough. Let's go into some simple examples and then get to the more challenging ones in the future. So first example, I'll go for 1/2 divided by 1/3. This is equal to 1/2 multiplied by 3 over 1. And the step that I did here, was I just flipped these around. I made the denominator the numerator and the numerator the denominator, and this was my result, 3 over 1. And another word for this process is called inversing. So here I found the inverse of 1 over 3, and that was 3 over 1. And now for the process of multiplication, I simply multiply the numerators, and I multiply the denominators. 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 1 is 2. And here, if I wanted to simplify it, I'd get 1.5. And let's go into some little bigger numbers. Let's go for 3 over 4 divided by, let's see here, 13 over 12. So what's our first step here? First, we just rewrite 3 over 4. Then we know that the operation becomes a multiplication after we write the inverse of the second fraction. The inverse of this fraction would make 12 the numerator and would make 13 the denominator. All right, now to find the answer, we have to multiply the numerators together and multiply the denominators together. 3 times 12 is 36. And then we have 4 times 13. Now 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 3 is 12. So the answer here is 52. Since both numbers are pairs, I can divide by 2. 36 divided by 2 is 18. And 52 divided by 2 is 26. Now I can also divide by 2 again. Here I'd get 9, and here I would get 13. So my final answer is 9 over 13. Okay, let's do a couple more. Let's do 12 divided by 4 divided by 3 over 4. It's as simple as rewriting 12 over 4, multiplying it by the inverse of 3 over 4, which is 4 over 3, then multiplying the numerator and multiplying the denominator. 12 times 4 is 48, 4 times 3 is 12, and 48 divided by 12 is 4. Or I could rewrite it as 4 over 1. Alright, simple enough. Now let's try combining these two operations to see how they would fit together. What if I had a situation where I had 4 over 3 multiplied by 17 over 3 multiplied by 4 over 5, all of it divided by 13 over 4 divided by 6 over 2. Alright, so this is a lot to work through. But what we have to keep in mind is the order of operations, and that's written as PEDMUS. P is for parentheses, E is for exponents, D is for division, M is for multiplication, A is for addition, and S is for subtraction. So let's get started. Here we'll try to get rid of all of the parentheses by multiplying it out. Or in this case, in the denominator, we would have to do the division. So let's get started. First step here, 4 over 3 times 17 over 3. All I have to do is multiply the numerators, and I have to multiply the denominators. So here I'll get 4 times 17. 4 times 7 is 28, and 4 times 10 is 40. So I'll get 68 over 3 times 3, which is 9, times 4 over 5, over 13. That would turn into 13 times 2, which is 26. So 13 over 4 would become 13 over 4 times 2 over 6, and that would give me 26 over 4 times 6, which is 24. 26 over 24. Here I would do 68 times 4, which would give me 272, over 9 times 5, which is 45, all of it over 26 over 24. Now, this line here, showing it as a fraction, can be rewritten as simply 272 over 45 divided by 26 over 24. meaning it can also be rewritten as 272 over 45 times 24 over 26 by taking the inverse of the denominator. Now, I am left with 272 times 24. Using my calculator, I find the answer being 6,528 over 45 times 26, which gives me 1,170. All right. Now, of course, we can simplify this since this is in pairs, but we don't really have time for that now. In the next episode, I'll make sure to go into some more order of operations and to include some combinations of the different operations for fractions. But for now, I'll see you next time.